jump into your demo. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, cool. Just to set the stage, I think this week I have 2 demos, which I often travel some rabbit holes. And this time, the question is, how cool would it be if I can talk to my data? Let's say I have all my data lined up, and the goal of this project is to, can I run everything locally without connecting to the internet, and have it answer questions that I have in my mind. And I connected some of the things that we are talking about. We played with the RAG, right? And then we are always talking about some LLM or the other. So I connected the auto merge index type of RAG system with a few open source LLMs, which are specifically fine-tuned for RAG. Right. So what does that mean? Right. So it's basically they started from the beginning. They made sure that this is going to answer don't know if it doesn't know. Right. Because it's a very difficult problem with a generic LLM like ChatGPT or other things to make it say I don't know. It wanders outside the context at times and hallucinates or even pulls data from something else. Right. That is not relevant to your personal data. Right. It may not be hallucination. It could be true, but it has the freedom to improvise. It improvises an answer, right? So those kind of things, right? So that's my experiment, right? So, okay. So one setup I had was talk to a book, right? I have a bunch of books and I have questions. I read them, right? Let's say I remember I read them 2 years ago, but then now I use it as reference material, right? Can I go back and ask some questions because I have the context, I have the knowledge. It's a Q&A session with my book, right? That's first thought process. And the second one is I volunteer at a nonprofit organization called Quai, which is working towards democratizing AI and personal AI and other things. So I put all their weekly public meeting transcripts and started asking Q&A. So these are 2 things that I want to show you. All right, let's go. So the first one is the book assistant, right? And we can restart it. So this particular, I fed 3 books. One is a book on Ayurveda. My wife is a big proponent of Ayurveda, so I had one of that book, and then I think you shared a couple of books. One related to education, and then the other one about corporate turnarounds. So let's go ahead. Let's ask. Again, so this Ayurveda book is written by Robert Svoboda. Let's see if it can. Again, some of this is, these are all slow running because primarily it's all handicapped due to my GPU resources.
Robert E. Svoboda is a notable figure in the field of Ayurveda, as he was the first Westerner to graduate from a college of Ayurveda in 1980 and receive a license to practice in India. He received mentorship from Agari Vimalananda in various classical Indian disciplines such as Ayurveda, Yoga, Jyotish, and Tantra. After moving to India in 1973, he lived there for over a decade before traveling around the world to lecture, consult, teach, and write. He has authored more than a dozen books and audio works and has served as adjunct faculty at institutions like the Ayurvedic Institute in Albuquerque and Bastyr University in Kenmore, WA. More details about his life and travels can be found on his website, watersvobo.com.
First feature request. I should have put in a mute button so we can continue to talk. I didn't do that. All right, let's continue.
Okay. But this is using, just for my information, this is pulling directly from the text, not text.
Right.
It's not summarizing anything, but it's going to the context and then pulling stuff that's relevant, basically. Right?
So I yes, absolutely. So to demonstrate that, I had that cite the top 3 sources it used for coming up with the answer, right? So essentially, when you see this, it says Ayurveda Life PDF, right? That's the PDF I gave it. And this is the sample text. It included more, but so it gives you, so I just want to make sure that it pulled from my PDF, not anywhere else, right? So
got it.
So the the Llama Index library has library support for citation. When you RAG against it, it also supports, there's classes there to give you citation. So that's what I used to verify whether this is coming from the ChatGPT world or is it coming from my source.
Got it. Okay, that's interesting. So it won't have, this is not doing any kind of, I think we talked about a little bit, it's not like a chat window, it is retrieval. It's a search and retrieval window, basically, correct?
Correct. So this one particularly, the demo I set up is a Q&A. These questions are they stand by themselves, Q&A, right? If I ask the next question, it does, I am not feeding it a conversation to come back with the answer, right? This is more, you ask a question, I'll answer the question, moving on. I'm not retaining context.
It's like a Google search, basically. It's not, there's no memory on what was your previous search, right?
Correct. I thought of use cases where people are familiar with the material, enough time has passed, and they have a question, right? It's not like I want to talk. I just need the information fast, right? I want to know, like if it's a history book or a person studying, they might want to know what is the date at which this happened, or this. I don't want it to talk to me. Just give me the information.
Students, if you have the whole textbook and you have one question, it'll know where to go and get it for you.
Yeah, very extractive, right? It's a very extractive search. And that was my goal, right? I don't want it to be very conversationally smart. I wanted a natural language. So this is more demonstrating, I want to talk freely, right? I want you to understand my intent and give me a short and crisp answer. Again, granted, it gave a paragraph, but it's a demo, trying to work with it. But that's the goal, right? It's just trying to give me, it's a one-way thing. Much of the example we see is two-way, right? I am good at talking and the system is good at talking. In this case, I don't want it to be that smart. I want it to just answer me.